once again coming back to you today for another video on my analysis of these basketball games we've been dealing with here tonight. Now, I'm just going to do a little bit more rapid through than my normal round of extra talking that I do. And we're just going to go ahead and just skip past the Sixers, Nets. I didn't even really bother catching this game. Nothing like that. I was like seeing a couple highlights. The only thing I can say is, oh man, that game seemed like it was a lot closer than I would imagine. But since I didn't particularly watch the game, I ain't gonna have no opinion on that. So let's get to the games that were fun to actually sort of watch, because you actually feel like there actually is a battle here. Let's go with the Kings versus the Warriors. Now, if you would have told me that they would have been up on them about like 20, I probably wouldn't have been able to see that. I would have seen it seemed like one of them series that is like in the last couple minutes, someone's gonna pull away by like 5 or something or 10 or something like that. But it's gonna be a close game the whole time. Yeah, sort of. What I was like, once this game sort of started getting into like halftime, the third quarter, like you can't count nobody out. Especially like a team like the King that got so many options on offense. But it just it's really weird. They took Green out, and so they starting unit was Poole. They had Poole in here, and Poole while didn't have a good game. I was like that. I was like, Poole just another dude. I was like wide open on shots, turnovers. I was like, hey, he got his money. That's all I'm gonna say. Cause if you do like this, you be like, oh, that Curry, and then you just realize, oh, they just light skin. But but anyway, this game was really Curry saying, I ain't going out like this. Cause don't get me wrong. I mean, I the way their team is structured, you have to stay on everybody. But this was really just Curry. This is all it was. It was just like get on my back, and whether I'm making a shot, whether I'm moving the defense, whether I'm giving you the ball, whether I'm doing this hockey assist, whatever, it's me. We the reason we gonna get this dub, literally, out of this, cause Clay wasn't on it. I was like Kaminga. I was like he didn't play nothing like that. But to say his dynamic, then Green, I feel like while Green is he's really needed for the system that Golden State runs, you sort of see where they're going to move into the future with Kaminga, where it's like he's a threat to shoot and he's a threat to drive, as he almost banged, and I mean bang, on Anthony Lynn. And I feel like that's only because Kaminga sort of missed it, because it was right. That would have been we ain't had a dunk like that so far in this postseason or whatnot. That would have been it. But yeah, no, this was real. And I was like, but along with Curry, you got really good play, like Wiggins. Even if he ain't got on offense, Wiggins still gonna give you defense. And Wiggins will make sure, like, they defensive scheme tonight. Now I was like, I know I went from Wiggins to the defensive scheme, but Wiggins was basically like he was stopping Sabonis a lot of times where you would think that would be a good matchup, but it wasn't. And they defense was really just, once whoever gets the ball, we swarming. Like literally, once they got into the paint, it was all four of them. And the thing is with the Kings, all they guards are small. Like Herter 6'5", so probably shorter. Monk 6'3", Fox 6'3", Mitchell 6 feet. So all your scores really are really small. So if they're not hitting their threes, which they wasn't, and they wasn't making none of their layups, so that means that once they get to the basket, if they're not hitting their threes, they're not able to really pass out of it. And along with their defense, DiVincenzo, I was like, that dude looked like he's back to where he was at Milwaukee before he hurt himself. I was like, he was over here. He had a little bit of the handle going right. I was like, he was playing. I was like on defense, he was out here hustling. I was like, he was over here giving out energy. He was really like annoying them and being tenacious, and so he was helping with the bit. So you got him on the perimeter along with Wiggins, who was sort of like, Wiggins sort of back and forth. He's inside and he's outside. But Looney play reminded me, and I didn't think about this really until I seen him really play tonight, which I probably should have drew comparisons earlier, is a lot like Tristan Thompson. A lot of dirty work, screens, hella offensive boards, just being in the right place at the right time. I was like, not necessarily like a passing big man, but a big man who can move the ball. Like, you ain't worried that he's going to fumble the ball or nothing like that. So he works on the defensive end and the offensive end a lot more effectively than a lot of other bigs, and also in the Warrior system, especially when you don't have Draymond. He basically sort of filled that role as far as not the facilitator in that way, but just able to move the ball as a big man. Um, and I really feel like it was a mix of those three on the end. And don't get me wrong, they was giving you, well, I was like, DiVincenzo and Wiggins were giving you points. Moody, I was like, gave them points out of nowhere as well too. That you probably wouldn't have thought so. I was like, and also his energy, like him and Kaminga's energy, is also it's very helpful, and especially when it's like Clay and Poole's not giving you the offense you need, but everybody's doing their part to give in to where you get a second chance shot. And that's the one thing with the Warriors. You don't want to get them second chance shot. Even if nobody hitting, now you're just going to give them another shot and another shot. Guess what? That's rhythm. Like, basically how towards the end of the quarter, Curry missed a shot, but Looney gets the rebound. And what happens? Give it right to Curry. Boom. 3 in your face. That's just something that you just can't have happen. Not only with that, is that earlier in the first quarter and a little bit in the second half and stuff, Fox wasn't. He was missing. I was like, he was missing his shot. Then in the second half, he got it going and he kicked it up a gear. They in that third quarter they had a chance, even though they wasn't getting contributions from everybody. But with the Warriors only really having Curry shooting, it sort of gave you a chance. The only problem is that when he went to the bench, they wasn't out here scoring either. Monk, it was a bad game for Monk. Monk wasn't able to put together what he needed to for what him and Herder both. They just like Herder was in double digit points, but you never felt like, oh, they start to cook. Nothing like that. So and this what also annoys me too, is that not Golden State, mainly because, like with somebody like Wiggins, he can get you points in the mid range. Curry shooting 3, Clay shooting 3. That's their team. That's their game. And while the Kings also have those people with Murray and Barnes, also, they get able to hit 3. Mitchell and Fox, Herder and Monk, all these people, they all can shoot 3, and they're similar to Golden State in that type of way. Where it's like one big dude that's in the middle, and then a whole bunch of perimeter dudes. Except for, I feel like their team is a lot better of getting points in the paint, and they weren't doing that early on when I felt like they had a chance to do it and climb back into the game. By the time they were doing it, it was a little bit too late, where you were so much in the deficit that you needed 3s more so to catch up than your 2s, because you also wasn't stopping them on defense enough either. So they wasn't. So by then, and I was like, this is sort of what hated me with a lot of how teams play, is that y'all yeah, yes, you could shoot three. Doesn't mean you're good at threes. Or if the three ball's not falling, get some of them mid range going. Get some of the keep going to the paint and getting fouled. And granted, maybe some of the, I was like they didn't get some call where I felt like they probably should have, but I was like they just want to go to the basket where I'm just like who's really here to stop him? Like Looney is not a shot blocker. Wiggins is really more the shot blocker. Especially like Draymond isn't really like that, but Draymond got the anticipation to do it. Wiggins got some of that lesson. He's gonna do it. Looney, now he can do it, but that's not what he does. So there's really nobody here to stop anybody, and it just seems like they never went to the basket enough to negate them not being able to hit their threes and do what they were doing so well in the last couple games, which was a lot of like go to the basket, kick outs, go to the basket, kick out. And Sabonis also wasn't really in the paint. It's after a while that they was using him a lot as a facilitator and bringing the ball up that it almost seemed like, well, that's odd, that's weird, but anyway, still think gonna be a pretty long series. I was like Golden State got this one. Curry put on the back, done, over. Anyway, the Clippers and the Suns, and once they said Kawhi wasn't gonna play, I sort of threw it in my head. I'll check out the game, but I'm probably not gonna really watch it because they ain't got no chance, right? Right? Yeah, then you start seeing how the game goes, and I do not understand. First of all, uh, like one of the bigger parts of the series that you got, not series, but one of the bigger things is that Ty Lue being a really good coach, and for me to say that, I mean, like most times you don't really see too much in the difference of the game in order to say something about the coach more so than the players themselves. And this one was all Ty Lue over here just being like, okay, how we gonna mess the game up? How we gonna get them off? And he did with this. They would call it the micro ball, the nano ball, whatever. That was really working. I do feel like in a lot of situations, just because Ayton is bigger than everybody else, but he's not a big man, and I feel like they don't have to play Zubac and Plumlee no much as much, especially Plumlee, just because how I feel about Plumlee. But like at least Zubac is going to defend and going to be able to get out there to block shots and whatnot, and he's actually somewhat. You give him a lob, you can do something with him on offense a lot more than Plumlee. Plumlee, I was like, I don't know, too much of seeing him with the Hornets. But once again, Westbrook, I was like, if there was ever, I was like Westbrook and Powell. That was the main people, and not saying like anybody else didn't play their part. Kind of Bone Highland was able to give him some points, and Terrence Mann, he always able to also play hard or whatnot. But Powell took on the challenge of Booker, what I was like, or Durant, whoever's scoring high, I'm scoring high. And Westbrook, by hook or by crook, he going. I was like, I was like, whether he's having a good shooting day or whether he's not, whether he's getting his buckets, whether he's just hustling, and I was like, yo, it's like if you could have bought all that he been hearing from like the last couple of years and placed it into his back like a battery. That's all he been doing. That's all he been doing. He just been coming. He been over here throwing Durant off. He been over here. It had to been throwing Booker off, but he been matching Booker, and they just been going at it. And I'm totally here for this all day. I was like these players at least there's been like some type of where I'm like, oh, there's some jippiness, there's some stuff where people don't like. Okay, cool, we good. I was like, you know, where I'm like, ooh, they're gonna make it good. I hope the thing goes 7 games. Yeah, I was like, but Powell was on another one. He was on another one. That I was like, that made me think of how he was a couple years ago, where he was in like Toronto, and it's like he's always been a scorer. And he's sort of one of them dudes that's he's like a volume scorer, but where it's just like, yo, he got it. Like if you got the green light, that's your best bet. He's the only one that can really create his shot. Everybody else can't really. Like Gordon, not so much anymore. He still gets to the basket, but he just don't be hitting a lot of his stuff. I was like Highland. I was like Bones can do it, but he's also still very erratic. But that's also but especially if Kawhi's not going to be in this and no Paul George, you're going to need his erratic nature, which is going to be crazy with him and Westbrook also both with how they could be erratic. Um, and I was like, Terrence Mann is just not the scoring guy as far as like getting his own shots in that way. He getting his points off of everybody else. So you're going to lean heavy on Powell and Westbrook. Gordon got to show up more and play and give them more of a threat. And Highland, I was like, look, dude, to come with energy and you good. Batum, I was like, I think he's long enough where he can play sort of he can play sort of center and also give you threes where Ayton had to come out. The rant it's been very weird. Like Booker, you've been feeling him the whole time where like him playing, like you like, oh, he get a bucket. Oh, he gonna make sure like no, they scoring. I got it, whatever. Chris Paul at this point, like how he did it the other night where he was able to close it out. Tonight he wasn't able to do it. He was missing wide open shots. I was like he missed a couple free throws, and at his age, that's just sort of what you can expect. Where I was like, it's not. It's more so that Durant, and I was like, I don't know if that's because all the small dudes, like I said, was bothering him or whatever, but he just ain't. It ain't been like with Booker. I'm like, oh, he coming to kill out here. He coming to destroy. Durant just has been himself, methodical, pretty cool, smooth. But that's about it. Nothing too major. Ayton, like I said, he is bigger than everybody else, but he's not a big man, and so therefore, it's one of the things. Like for me, I'm like, if you feel like Tyler, if you able to feel like you can go so small, where your tallest dude is like 6'5", and you're 8 and you're nearly 7 feet, that's disrespectful. That's got to be disrespectful, and for you not to fully take advantage of it, and you have a good offensive game to take advantage of it, and they still like nah. I'm like nah. I'm like, oh, you should take that as a sign of disrespect, and they still was sort of like busting y'all. This game was way closer than it needed to be. And maybe because Westbrook is really good when there's definitely no other way. He has to be the main dude, like with like a whole bunch of others. Maybe this is what maybe he could do it. Maybe he at least get him in a game or so, because we don't know when Kawhi gonna come back or whatnot. I was like, I don't think they got a couple of days, so he might be back for that one. But I feel like Westbrook isn't going to let them get demolished. But if you're Phoenix, you need to go ahead and take this as a chance to let's go ahead and take them down while they're down, and don't let go. And we're gonna see if that happens, because they also look like the Clippers. I think the Clippers be fine. Westbrook always gonna bring this energy. Powell, even though he had that amount of points, he hasn't been playing crazy like that, so he should still be good. And all them other dudes that's been on the bench, like Highland had to really play, so now he's been playing. Man is young. Highland is young. Like a couple of these dudes is young. Gordon, I was like, he ain't played most of the year now. He's playing on the Clippers and stuff like that. He should be fine. So they should be good to go. The Suns looked a bit tired, and we're going to see how much this takes out of them, since they don't have the depth needed in order to deal with what the Clippers did. Because that's all it was. It was just the Clipper depth. Just like, all right, cool. Y'all 3-4 people versus all like 8 of us, and let's see what happens. So that's still gonna be an exciting series, even if Kawhi can't get back in it. Anyway, I know I said I wanted to run through this and to be short, and hot damn it, if it ain't longer, I was like, than I expected. Talking too much here. Anyway, if you like this video, I appreciate it. Thanks. If not, hey, maybe next time. But until then, deuces, I'm out.